Transhelp is a national charity supporting the health and welfare of road transport personnel and their families. AJ Birchall has the story.
Well, we've all been pushed around, from here and out to the school ground, left our hearts in the lost and found.
Before working on this show, I, like many of us, didn't give transport much thought. It's something that just happens. It's those big annoying things in my way as I'm running late for work or going on holiday. We all take for granted the fact that our groceries are on the shelves, our mail is delivered on time, our fuel is there when we need it. It's a basic way of life for many of us in the community. One thing I definitely didn't consider was the tragic cost for some. What happens when something goes wrong? Who is there to pick up the pieces for those left behind? One such organisation is Transhelp, and I wanted to meet the person behind this charity and the dedicated team of volunteers. So we met up with Di Carroll, the CEO of Transhelp, at a truck stop in northeastern Victoria, and I asked her why she set up this organisation.
Well, we've all been
Transhelp's a national charity that we started 10 years ago. It's a legacy to my first husband. He was killed in a truck accident back in 1993, and after he was killed, I had to go through the courts for 3 years assisting our children for compensation after his death. And in 2005 we decided to put his name on the memorial at Tarcutta, and following that I got involved with the memorial, and I realised that there was people there that needed assistance, that because there was no assistance after we lost Gary. I felt that I'd learnt enough that I could actually assist others. So I came up with the concept of Transhelp, and then approached Royans in Wagga, and it was the backing of Bill Andrews from Royans that put the money up to get the foundation off the ground. And from there we started with a mobile tent, a couple of card tables and 2 chairs and some brochures, and 10 years on we've now got 3 mobile units we take out on the road doing preventative health checks, and a 1300 number which works nationally as a lifeline for the industry. Post-traumatic stress and road trauma is huge out on the road. It's normally if there's an accident or a fatal, you can guarantee a truck driver's the first one to come across it, so they see some horrific stuff out there. And after the accident they're told to go on their way, so that's when it hits them. So we get calls from drivers that have left the scene of an accident or been involved in accidents. We deal with the widows after fatalities. We assist them through the work cover process as well, which can be 3-4 years. And make sure that they know the avenues they have to take to get the benefits and entitlements that they are entitled to.
Mari Benson was a recipient of Transhelp following the tragic loss of her husband David after a crash in Victoria. Her story is a prime example of why we should be more sensitive posting photos of crashes on social media.
I do actually recall 3:15 in the afternoon sitting out the front waiting for the kids to come home from school, and I was reading this really bizarre newsletter about the value of time. Kids got home, had them organised, homework, snacks, all the rest of that. And scrolling through Facebook, there was a report of an accident on the East Link. I just put out a question whether anyone had heard anything or anyone had any more details of any kind of accident, because I hadn't been able to reach David. And someone posted a picture on my wall of the truck, and the second I saw that driver's side guard, yeah, I knew. I grabbed the phone and you don't want to believe it. I tried to call David and I I tried non-stop. The next hour or so the phone just kept ringing through. And I got a call from David's best mate. He was in tears. He didn't have to say anything. He just sort of confirmed it for me. And the police didn't actually get around to home roughly 7 hours later. I think one of the hardest things for me to realise at the time, I was grieving, but so were my kids. And yeah, having to take them through that journey as well. It's very hard. I had a girlfriend who lives up in Queensland who was familiar with Transhelp. I hadn't heard of them at this point, and she put me onto them, and look, it was the best thing that ever happened. The guidance I received from there was invaluable. It's a lifestyle, it's an industry thing, and they get it. They get the lifestyle, they get every aspect of it. Government agencies, 9 to 5, no help whatsoever. She was always there 24/7 when I needed her. But this was, I mean, it's an individual journey. We've got to go through the process. We've got to go through the motions to be able to get through it.
Not only are Transhelp there to support grieving families affected by tragedies, they provide holistic preventative medical advice for drivers' physical and mental health.
We've been fortunate to partner with GP2U, which is a telehealth service which runs nationally. So no matter where you can get mobile service, you can actually have a face-to-face telehealth appointment with the doctor. And we have that service running out of all of our vans. So if we get a truck driver in there that's got some major health issues and we believe he needs a doctor straight away, we can actually do a direct telehealth appointment there and then for them. And that also includes psychologists, psychiatrists, diabetes educators and dietitians. So
Even dietitians?
Yes, which is great. And there is a lot of obese drivers out there. We talk the talk with them too, and we've got some drivers that have now lost 30, 40, 50 kilos after coming through the van, and us getting through to them that they need to do something for their own well-being, so which is great. A lot are turning to cooking in their trucks, which is great, and we try to encourage them to keep away from the energy drinks because they have been known to cause heart attacks and strokes. They also don't realise the sugar content. Just recently I had a driver through the van and he was quite obese, so we went through what he ate for the day, which was quite healthy, but his downfall was he'd drink 2 litres of flavoured milk a day. Once he realised he was drinking 100 kilograms of sugar a year, I didn't know at the time, but his wife, who I've got on social media, contacted me. She said, "I'm not sure what you said to him, but ever since he's been in the van, he's been drinking water." So it worked, and that's what we're trying to give them alternatives. Even the Coke, there's a lot of consumption of Coke, so we encourage them to drink water and then just have a mouthful of Coke as a chaser. There's simple things they can do to make a difference, same as if they have steak and chips. Tell them you only want 6 chips, not 16 dozen. It's because they're eating everything on their plate, and so if you ask for not as much to be on your plate when you first go in, well, that can eliminate a lot of things. Well, we all volunteers. There's no paid workers within the foundation, and being a national charity and some fantastic sponsors like Iveco, who's donated the vans, BP, they donate the fuel to enable us to get around with the vans. And then some other sponsors like Cummins and Caterpillar have assisted with funds to assist in buying the medical needs for the units. So that's been the core behind us getting to where we are today.
Their small fleet of mobile health vans and team of volunteer professionals provides on-the-go instant medical advice.
Okay, so all the time I'm asking them questions, usually about smoking as well, alcoholic drinks, all those energy drinks that they drink on the road, to make sure that that's not affecting their blood pressure and their other health conditions. From then on we get to the blood pressure, as we do, take it And then if it comes up with a rating above normal, then I instruct them as such that it is above normal and try to go through that the energy drinks matter to them, the amount of food you've drunk, the amount of cigarettes that you're intaking, one thing or another. Ask if diabetes is in the family and go through that. As you know, or don't know, maybe it's just a little finger
What's
prick.
this? Oh,
It is.
yeah.
We have to take the
don't-
top
yeah,
off. We
no.
usually ask them for a
Yeah.
finger.
Yeah.
Pinprick the finger, get the blood, and put it on a little strip that goes into a machine and gives us a reading of blood sugar in the bloodstream at this time.
And you can get an immediate reading
Yes,
right then and
yes,
there.
within
Right.
seconds.
Yeah,
You're
fantastic.
getting- yeah. Again, I try to instruct them at that point that this is only in the middle of what would be their working day.
Yeah.
So it's the same as if they go to the doctor. You can raise your blood pressure because you're scared of going in there, what he's going to tell you, basically.
Yeah.
Whereas if in the middle of the working day, the doctor's not arriving, but we are, it seems to be within a normal limit. So go through all these processes in order to give them a reading out on a card, which then they can take away with themselves. It's dated, shows the blood pressure, shows the blood sugar result, and I say to them always keep it on you because we're up and down the road. You can have it taken anywhere else. You can have it taken at a chemist. Record it so that when you get to your doctor, you can show him these results, and they can gauge it a bit better than, as I say, walking in there already with your blood pressure up because you're scared of what's going to be told to you at that point in time.
How long would one of these health checks generally take?
Oh, the best.
Perhaps on average. Yeah.
Depending on how long I talk, but the best part of 5 to 10 minutes, which again is, they don't mind coming in the door for that long.
Yeah.
When you go to the doctor and you sit in the waiting room or go to see a specialist and sitting in the waiting room, you're worried all this time. You're there for a good half an hour. A lot of these guys don't have that time to get off the road. They're worried about financial income, so they don't make that time.
Yeah.
There have been instances though when we're out in the van with Di Carroll, the CEO, and we've had to send people off in an ambulance. It's just too critical to let them go on. You realise there's really a point here where they can't.
Yeah.
So you've got to ring an ambulance and say, look, pack up your truck. You really should go to a hospital at this point.
Yeah.
They're not happy, but they realise that we're talking serious business here.
Do you need special training yourself to be volunteering in one of these, or is it just, you know,
I'm
you know
just-
this stuff because you're a nurse?
Yeah, I'm just a nurse by background, so I don't think you do. You could train yourself. This is what is basic, baseline is all we're talking about. Trying to give them a baseline to guide them into a better health regime, a better way of living even, if we can guide them into choices along the road.
Yeah, okay.
Choices, it's all about choices all the time. But it's just a little bit of education too, in a way. They don't hear it maybe often enough, but when they hear it from a stranger, they go, no, maybe they make sense.
Yeah,
Maybe they don't.
Well, see, I think you're a little bit more than just a nurse, and I think we're very lucky to have the likes of you helping our transport industry and our drivers out there doing a very important job on the road.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you
you.
both and Di for being on the show today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Although we're alone, we're not alone. There's support, there's friends there for you, definitely.